Just by the way of updates, clearly everyone knows that we're under the current order of the governor, and we're continue to work on providing education in a remote platform. And there are many questions that's being asked by parents, many questions being asked by teachers, and probably the most significant question is what will happen after April 1st. At this point, the answer is I don't know, because the reason why we're closed right now is based upon the declaration of the governor. So we'll await that to see what there may be for the coming weeks. In the interim, we're in the process of creating several different platforms to provide information to parents. Teachers have been doing a tremendous job of making connection with students. Google Hangout is the platform, the conferencing platform that we're encouraging teachers to use right now. And I say that because as technology change, we have to make sure that we're using platforms that are consistent with the privacy regulations. And I think some of the privacy regulations were developed before we found ourselves in this dilemma in terms of conferencing with kids. And so certainly we will continue to encourage parents to monitor their children's use of computers. And so we're trying to make sure, again, we're providing the access while yet protecting the safety and privacy of students while they're online. In terms of some next steps, some of the big rocks that we have to figure out, and this will be based upon how far, how long we may be potentially in a suspension of on-site learning in terms of things such as grading. How will grading apply? What will be the grades for the third quarter versus grade for the fourth quarter? People are asking those questions. Questions surrounding graduation. Those are legitimate questions that at this point, it would be very premature for us to provide an answer to, because all those answers are contingent upon how long we'll be in a suspended state for on-site learning. In terms of a big piece that we're really focused on is the equity piece in terms of students having access to computers. Right now, we're looking at trying to identify students that we have been informed by parents or otherwise that there's a need for a computer and trying to provide that access as much as possible. Wi-Fi access is still a concern for some. And again, we're asking parents to reach out if they can to let us know, and as much as possible, we will try to provide some of those resources. Again, these are different times, trying times, challenging times, but also opportunistic times for us to really think about how we do education differently as we move forward. So again, some of the salient questions we don't have, the big one, when will we come back to school? What does graduation look like? What does grading look like? All those are not only Shen questions, but we're also taking a very regional approach. When I say regional, coordination through the Capital Region BOCES in terms of how we look at a curriculum, how we look at grading, because we don't want to have a situation where one school district is doing one way, another school district is doing another way, and it creates, people saying, why can't you do it this way? Why can't you do this way? So we're trying to get the best minds at the table to come up with some consistent protocols to some of those big questions. In terms of essential staff, there was some recent edict came out, the governor, about essential staff. Right now, the large majority of our personnel are actually working remote or at home. And so we're certainly trying to comply with that edict of trying to have as many people work remotely as possible. I myself, I've been in office every day and probably will be in office every day to ensure that certain things are happening. We'll have staff coming in and out based upon some essential needs that we need to take place. Another big question that came up recently, we have several construction projects that are lined up. The construction work is deemed to be essential work, and so we're trying to continue with that in a manner that again upholds to the safety edicts, and certainly the construction industry is aware of that. They're keenly aware of some of those edicts, what they need to follow through on. So again, we're monitoring those things very closely and trying to ensure that as things transpire in buildings, that we continue to disinfect buildings as we move forward. To this date, all of our buildings have gone through a very comprehensive deep clean. So that's a kudos to the custodial staff and Barb Saliker for her team for doing so. And we'll continue to do those kind of things because, if or when students return and staff return to school, we want to make sure that people walking into environments that are as clean as they have ever been, and certainly want to continue that protocol even after staff return. But when that day occurs is something that's right now outside of my control, and clearly will be contingent upon the governor's most recent, or should I say, next declaration.